tell
Hi,
you. But
morning,
let me.
Rayon. Welcome.
Oh, hi. Can you see me properly?
No, we're not seeing you. We're just seeing your name. No
Uh,
video
Your
on yet.
camera is not on.
would you like to? Let me figure this out. Hold on.
No, it's okay. Well, you have about half hour before you're presenting. So if you want to, because you in California? I've been following you, so I think you're in California, right?
I am in California. Yeah,
It's about 5 a.m., right?
Yeah.
it sure is.
Well, welcome. So I'm gonna now invite our next speaker. Very excited about this next speaker because he's involved in something which is very, very near and dear to my heart. Well, two things. One is youth development and working with young people to make sure that they're exposed to something really exciting, and the other one is that exposure is about really the ocean and the joy that boating and the ocean brings, and the opportunities. And we know that this is an issue for many young people in Jamaica that would never experience this. So I'm not going to go into much detail because I really want Captain Rayon Carruthers to tell us everything about Oceans for Everyone. But Rayon is actually in California at the moment, so it's 5:30, 6 a.m. in the morning for him. So we really want to thank him for joining us so early. And Rayon, I'll hand over to you, and you can tell us all about what you're doing with Oceans for Everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate the invitation. And thank you, Paula, for your presentation. I'm really excited to see what happens with your program in the future. I really hope I can figure out how to follow you guys on social media or your website or whoever else. Um, but yeah, my name's Rayon Carruthers. I don't know if the video is even working. I don't know if I should even do a video or what. But yeah, my name's Captain Rayon. Well, my name isn't Captain Rayon Carruthers. I'm Rayon Carruthers, and I'm a research vessel captain in Monterey, based in Monterey, California. We do work um, up and down the California coast mostly, and I'm also the founder of Oceans Forever. Was everyone hearing me okay?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yeah, we
Okay,
can hear you, Rayon.
okay, cool. Um, yeah, I'm also the founder of Oceans for Everyone, which is an organization I started to create a platform for kids to experience the sea and to experience boating, with the understanding that most kids won't have an opportunity to do that, unless their family has a boat or unless they're able to afford boat trips. They're going to spend a lot of their time going past the boats they all see everywhere they go, and not really get a chance to be a part of it. So we've done 4 or 5 trips so far, and COVID kind of jumped right into the middle of our progress. We were picking up some steam, and then COVID kind of jumped in. Oh yeah, kids right there. That was from our last trip.
Yeah, I'm going to bring it back up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, COVID kind of we were picking up some steam, and COVID kind of like jumped into our operation. But we have another trip coming up, and I'm really I'm really excited
Wait,
about that.
I'm going the wrong way. Sorry.
It's fine. It's all up there. Oh, I have pictures I can share too. That's my daughter Meadow, and she's actually the inspiration for for all of this, really, truth be told. And one day, that's her there in the blue. One day we were on our boat, and there were um, we just go out on our boat from time to time, and I just kind of had this idea that I wanted to give every child in Jamaica an opportunity to have those types of experiences. So I started on this journey to figure out a way to do that, and with after a fair amount of trial and error, we were able to pull off our first trip in 2019 or 20, I think. And then yeah, we've been kind of like full steam ahead ever since. And yeah, that's us after our last trip that was very exhausting. Um, but each trip takes about 30 kids. Um, there's often more because kids they'll tell their cousins and their neighbor will hear about it, and then they'll just show up sometimes with like a couple extras, or they'll call me the day off or the day before and they say, hey, can I bring my cousin? And I always try to get them on. So far it's been just under about 200 kids that I've been able to go to see for free, and that to me is just a massive accomplishment, and just to think that in a couple of years we've been able to do that. I'm very excited about what we will be able to do in the next several years, because so far our trips are out of Port Royal, and that, and on not on this last trip, but the trip before last, there were families that came from Clarendon, there are families that came from Manchester, and it kind of it showed me just how important it was to them to make that trip. Um, and it was very inspiring that they would wake up in the morning, pack up their kids, and find their way from Manchester to Port Royal in the morning to do that. And I often think about, when I started this project, I was thinking a lot about the impact that it would have on kids. And I didn't quite think about the impact that it would have on the entire family itself. And there have been so many parents that have come to me and have um, expressed to me just how much it meant to them, um, to see their kids out there having a good time. And I realized also that, if you can if you can, anything that benefits the child will benefit the family. And so it kind of drove home this idea of a very holistic approach to spreading joy, because joy is addictive and contagious, and it carries with it a whole lot of power. And if you have a room with one person that's filled with joy, that is very likely to be a room with multiple people filled with joy. And I remember one father, he said to me that on that day he felt, on the day of the trip, when he saw his three kids out there, he felt like the father he always wanted to be to his kids. And parents parents really, really, really want to provide their kids with opportunities, but it's just hard. Life is hard. And so it's really special that we're able to do this. And we our trips are out of Port Royal, and I'm looking to expand. I've been trying to find a way to get um different boat operators in different parts of the islands, to to commit to this program, so that kids wouldn't have to come from all the far reaches of the island to come to Port Royal to be a part of this. I'm thinking, Jarius, Montego Bay, Negril, anywhere where you have vessels that um, operates some kind of recreational boat, um, could be a part of it. So that's always a work in progress. I've definitely also floated the idea of um, developing a school program of some sort to be able to install in the schools. Because I'm imagining, field trips with kids going out to sea, and that to me would just be amazing. The impact of that would be astonishing, I think. Um, so it's been a whole lot of fun, a whole lot of trial and error. And um, if I could share my screen too, I actually have like some pictures of. Am I able to do that?
Yeah, go ahead. I think you can. Oh, go ahead. You can share.
Ah, okay. Boom. Yeah, like these are the kids from, I think this was not our last trip or second to last trip, and there was a whole lot of apprehension about COVID and stuff, but we just made sure everybody had their masks, and everybody was oh my God. So this little girl, this lovely little girl, her mother was her mother was late to the departure. So I'm in California at this time. I'm not able to make all the trips. And so she called me on WhatsApp, frantic, saying that asking me if I could hold the boat. And I was telling her, I'm sorry, I can only hold it for so long. And when she got there, I told her that when she got there, she could probably ask one of the other boat operators that take people like out to Line Key or something, ask one of them to take her out to where the boat was going, which was Maiden Key. And she did exactly that. She piled her three kids onto one of those boats and took them out there, and they were able to meet them out there, and they had such a wonderful time. And images like this um, almost bring me to tears because I know how much fun my daughter has when we go out to sea, and just being able to give that to Jamaica's kids is it's extremely special to me. So yeah, it's also um, it's also expensive, which because boating itself is usually not cheap. Um, and we've done okay in terms of getting some donations here and there. We got like a sponsorship for one of the trips at one point, and but it's been primarily just out of pocket, and that's one of the things why social media is so important too, because it's part of how I drive donations towards these trips, and but it's also really just me, and I spend a lot of my time at sea. Luckily, um, it's kind of tricky to get all of that done. But in terms of like the impact of being at sea, I know for me, I know for me personally,
Sky keeps people out to see you.
for me personally, I think being able to go to sea saved my life. I think it it's something that I can't imagine my life without that privilege. I can't imagine what I'd be without that privilege. And even to this day, it's been over 3 decades since I first set foot on a boat. Even to this day, every time I go to sea, I'm almost instantly feeling better. I'm almost instantly my mood is improved. I feel more calm. I feel more relaxed. I feel more in tune with myself. I feel so in tune with the world, and I'm just able to handle life. And this and life is hard. We live in a world that, especially for kids, we live in a world that's absolutely not created for children, and they just have to deal with it. And some of them do and some of them don't, but I think it's our responsibility to create a world that's easier for kids, and create a world where they have more opportunities to see things and have experiences that are going to boost their existence, and to help them in their development, because they're going to develop one way or another. But I think it's our responsibility to ensure that as they develop, they have experiences that are going to put them in a better position to just be happy. Um, I think about, people often ask me what are my goals with the organization, and it's simply, I'm not really looking to make more captains. I'm not looking to make more marine scientists. I just believe that if kids have more opportunities to do things and to have experiences that are created just for them to feel good, um, then they'll be better for it. And this is just my passion. This is just my little thing that I think I can give to the world, and that's what I'm doing. And I think invariably you'll find, as the program goes on over the years, you'll find some kids that say, well, it sparked a passion, or it sparked this or it sparked that. But that's really not my goal. The goal is to create an opportunity and simply give it to them. And um and I think that in and of itself will show them that um they live in a world that does in some way care about them, and is looking out for them, and that they don't have to do anything for it. They don't have to prove themselves in any way. They don't have to do anything. Just be just be there and be happy, and enjoy it, you know. And I think about, there have been studies too that talk about the effect of the ocean on the human brain. They talk about how it actually changes your brainwave frequencies. It's amazing the type of stuff that they've unearthed with their research about what the ocean does for a person. They talk also about how it stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps you to feel calm, feel more relaxed. Um, there have been studies about you know the higher amounts of like negative ions in sea air, in seawater, and and the effect that has on your body and on your brain, and the higher number of positive ions in the air that is that is close to the sea, and how oxygen enriched it is, and just all the benefits, just all these these very incredible scientific benefits of being on the ocean, which in some way, shape, or form, I think anyone who's been to the ocean or on the ocean can relate to. And I think we need to give more to our kids, and this is my effort to do that. I think ultimately my goal is to, whether or not I get it in schools, ultimately my goal is just to be able to pull off a few trips a year, several trips a year, and just by the time it's all said and done, I want it to be thousands and thousands and thousands of Jamaica's kids that have gone to gone to sea for free. And the reason why it's free and not just like low cost is because it certainly makes it a lot more difficult to pull off when it's just absolutely free. But I just believe that the moment you introduce any kind of cost to the families, that you're going to exclude so many. And I just don't want to do that, at all. So if it means that it's a little harder to pull them off, that's fine. Um, but that's the work that I've committed myself to, and that's okay. Um, I think ultimately too, like another thing that I'm really trying to to get going is, I'd like for the country to have a nice like a mid-size built to order research vessel for use by not just the government to do their research, or even environmental firms and schools, but not on universities, but schools of all levels, like high schools and primary schools. And I want to develop a culture of research and rewarding research and rewarding curiosity. And I think there's a way to do that. Because we could be streaming live ROV, remote operated vehicle footage, into schools. Any school that has an internet connection, we could be streaming not just live remote operated vehicle feeds, but we could be streaming, research operations of all sorts, and teaching about research and teaching about the ocean and teaching about all the different marine environments and teaching about the animals that we find. And there is a way to do it directly from a vessel like that if it's properly equipped, right into schools. It wouldn't even have to be schools. It could just be into libraries. It could to be into homes. They could just like log on to the website and see what type of operation is going on right now and just learn about it. There's so many opportunities out there for a program like this. And it's only been a few years, and I'm trying to find more patients that I've been naturally blessed with to do that. But I feel like the impact has been pretty big so far, and the potential impact in the future is just absolutely immense. Can everybody hear me?
Hi. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Rayon. I think everybody's just sort of, just mesmerized by what you just presented. I have a million questions, but I'm going to open up the floor to anybody that would love to ask Rayon any questions about what he's doing and what's next. All right, nobody's there. So Rayon, my question would be, I have a lot of questions, and I think that you're right. I think that if you're not from the sea and you're not, you didn't spend years on the sea, you don't necessarily understand the depth of the impact that being on the sea has in terms, as you said, in terms of your mental health and wellness, but also in terms of your whole outlook and understanding of the world. One of the incredible things, and much of what you were saying not just resonated with me, was deeply emotional for me, was because I grew up sailing with my father. I'm from the Eastern Caribbean, and we grew up on the sea. And the greatest conversations I've ever had were on the sea. The greatest reflections I've ever had were on the sea. And I think that when we talk about a world right now that is so full of noise and distractions and confusion, that what it would do to a young person today to spend 3 hours on the sea, in terms of that kind of silence and quiet, I think is something that would have huge and far-reaching positive implications. And I think that that's something that needs to be looked at. I'm going to open up the floor because Elizabeth has her hand up, and then Elizabeth.
Yeah, I was just being mesmerized by the blue sea and the ocean and the smiles on the children's faces. What we call it is blue-green therapy. Anywhere that you can get kids to go out and see the blue that's in the sea and, the greens that are there as well. This is amazing therapy, especially for traumatized children. And so many of our children live in spaces where it's dark, it's not painted, there's no color, really. That it's amazing what these kind of trips can do. And if all of us would do the kind of thing is, take kids and make sure they're exposed to this, and really congratulate him for Ryan, you for taking the time and sharing it. And I think if you were measuring the psychological impact, you would definitely they be able to show how much benefit it is in those children's lives,
Yeah, it's talking about measuring impact, it's psychological impact. I mean, I could sit here and talk for hours about how much the ocean has helped me personally. And, anyone that goes to sea on a regular basis often say the same thing. That there's a depth to the ocean, obviously, but what it does, it has allowed me to connect to a part of myself that feels natural, but has often felt out of reach. And whenever I'm at sea, it it's very natural to kind of slip into like a certain type of meditative space for me, which is extremely necessary. And over the years, for me, has been extremely therapeutic, in many many scenarios. And now I'm at a point now where I'm fairly convinced that I wouldn't be able to like mentally survive for very long far from the sea. It's been that impactful, and I just want to be able to give kids just a taste of that. And I say give, I want to give it to them because I feel like we ask so much of our kids, and in so many different ways, and I just wanted to have something where they're receiving just because they're kids and just because they're there, and I think they deserve it.
Yeah, and I think Rayon, you're correct. It's interesting because I don't think that Jamaicans recognize how it lacks opportunities for exploration on the water, on the ocean. Again, the Eastern Caribbean is very much sort of boating islands, and everybody grows up going on boats of different sizes and types and stuff. But in Jamaica, it's really not a boating country, a boating island, which is really sad. And again, so therefore, there are much fewer opportunities anyway for children in this area. And I agree with Dr. Ward in terms of the blue-green therapy and how extraordinary in terms of the possibilities that are out there and just that whole exploration, something like this would be. I have a question from Charmaine Tapper. She says, awesome, Rayon. Let me know when you'll be able to cater to some children from the Windsor Lodge home and Hanbury home. So one question would be how do people get, on a waiting list, or, or can a group be sponsored specifically? I mean, how does it work in terms of getting kids out there?
I'll address I'll address a couple of things with homes. Because I remember a few years ago there was a fire at the children's home in Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to give the kids like a Christmas tree, like put them on just give them a trip, like as a Christmas tree. And I couldn't. The administrators there said that the kids weren't allowed to go on boat trips. So I went on like a massive tirade, and
Right.
I eventually, and this took months and months and months and months of calling people, emailing folks, and I eventually got the administrators of the Maxfield Park Children Home to agree to go in on a trip. and and so we have a trip set up with the Maxfield Park Children's Home. And I think because of COVID restrictions, we just haven't been able to like nail down the date. But I think it's important to, so about the home, it's important to figure out exactly what the administrators allow in terms of trips, and if they do allow that, then yeah, just contact me. You can email me at captainrayon@gmail.com, or you can email me from my website, which is ofejamaica.org. I really try to stay on top of it, but it's literally just me trying to like do stuff on my breaks. um, ofejamaica.org, like Oceans for Everyone. Instagram is Oceans for Everyone Inc. You know, Facebook. There's I'm on Twitter at Rayon Carruthers, and just any way that you can get to me is that's just do it, because I promise you
Me too.
my time is extremely limited, and I try to get to everything and to everyone. So once you figure out if like I think it's the CFPSA or TPF, the Child Protective Family Services
Yes.
people. Yeah,
CPFSA.
right. If you can get permission from them, then we can go ahead and start setting up the actual trip. So I do what I call open trips, which is I'll get the funding, or just pay for it myself, and then I'll announce it, and then it's like a first come first serve type of deal for the open trips, which I just fill the spots until there aren't any more spots. And then I have what I call a closed trip, which is what it would be to set a trip up with a school or with an organization. The last trip we did was with the Optimist Club of Trenchtown with Owen Blacker Ellis, um, and a bunch of kids from Trenchtown. So that was a closed trip. So for you, it would be a closed trip. We just set something up specifically for the kids from your home, and then it's really very simple. We try to get a couple of buses if necessary, and we also try to get some food for the kids so that we can take that responsibility off of the families for that day to um to provide lunches. And outside of that, it's really just show up and have a good time. And when they get there, the captain and the crew is and it's not me captaining any of these trips. I have my own boats to deal with here. But it's the loose it's been the loose cannon catamaran company, and they've been very good from the beginning. Their crew is extremely professional, and their boat is lovely, and their crew has been very good with dealing with the kids, because I asked them to, because we break the kids up into about maybe 5 or 6 groups, because it's like 30 kids, and and the boat can take a whole lot more, but I don't know if we can handle more than 30 kids at a time. Um, so we break the kids up into groups, and then we kind of like have them going around the boat, learning about different parts of the boat, different parts of boat techniques, and all of that stuff. And it's been really, really good to see, and they've been really, really helpful, and they've been on board, because there were places where I'd go to them and I'd pitch them the idea, and they'd say, nope, we're not putting 30, 40 kids on our boat. And and they just don't want to deal with that. And
Yeah.
the loose cannon company said, okay, we've never done anything like this before. And and to be fair, I'm not sure anybody in Jamaica has done anything like this before. So it was very unfamiliar to them. But we're 4 or 5 trips in, and they've been really, really good. So I'm very grateful for them. So I'm really hoping to also spread it to other parts of the island as well, um because I think it'd be fair to have kids from everywhere being able to be a part of it.
Yeah. And Charmaine says that she'll take care of getting the clearance
Wonderful.
for the Windsor Lodge home and Hanbury home. So she'll take care of that.
Yeah, so it's so yeah, contact me at Oceans for Everyone Inc. on Instagram, or captainrayon@gmail.com, and we'll get it done. We'll
Yeah.
get it done. The funding is the biggest part, because
What does it cost, Rayon, to do a trip?
um if including food
Yes.
and transportation,
Mhm.
about 15 or 1600 US dollars.
Okay. And the boat it's engine. It's not you don't use a sail.
No,
sail.
it's not a sailing catamaran. It's a power
Okay.
catamaran. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, I mean, I know that there's a lot more that we can talk about, and everybody's now getting really interested in the discussion, but we've gone over. We're supposed to finish at 9. Definitely worth going over for.